Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's episode is going to be on how do I do my photos, videos, and other entertainment things via computer inside of the van. No, I did not go with a laptop setup. I ended up going with something a little bit more interesting. So what I've got here is a bunch of products. I have a mini PC computer. I have a wireless mouse and keyboard. And then I have this very clever and sleek 4K computer monitor, which also works with a lot of other devices other than the computer. So let's get started. All right, let me flick on a light here so we can see a little bit more because there are clouds rolling in outside. So this is very exciting for me because I had a very large 27 or 30 inch computer monitor that I use on my desktop computer, which I have in storage, and it was just too big to fit in the van. There's nowhere to put it permanently, and a computer monitor with a stand, it just took up too much room. So I ended up getting this lovely, beautiful screen from a very generous company, which I don't even know the name. Up Perfect, so UPERFECT, so a perfect kind of. Yeah, it's also touchscreen, which is kind of interesting. So peel off this protective film. I haven't used it for actual editing yet. I've just been using it with my phone, which is kind of interesting. So folds out like that. It is, I believe, 17 inches, 4K resolution. It can fold up. It actually has the VESA mount screws, and this is just magnet on there, so the whole monitor itself comes off. It has two USB-Cs, a built-in speaker, a micro HDMI. On the other side, another speaker, a headphone jack, and on-off, and then a cycle switch to go through the menus, because there are some different menus that you can actually run this with. And then it has the VESA mount, so we can mount it to a swivel stand, which I have here today, but I'm not sure how I'm going to go about doing that, whether I want to mount it to a swivel arm, or whether I want to keep it mobile just like this, and I could put it inside of its case and move it wherever I want, whenever I want, which I think is incredibly useful. Like I said, just in there with a magnet, and make sure it's situated in the center. So yeah, I could basically prop it up. Can't put it right here because I got stuff there right now, but I could prop it up and do my edits wherever. I mean, I can even do it in the front seat realistically if I want. So I can set that there, and I can run a USB-C to USB-C to my cell phone and run whatever I have on my cell phone on that, which I do a lot because I download and save movies on my Netflix and then play them back offline when I'm out of cell phone service on a larger screen. It just works so well. So to power that, it is a simple adapter. Where are we at? So USB comes with all this too. So USB-C to USB-C, that's how it's powered. HDMI to micro HDMI, so we can plug in the computer and other devices. Another USB-C to USB-C to plug in my phone or other devices. And that is all that it came with. So that is my computer monitor, very high resolution. Next, I have a charge cable for my mini PC. Nothing special there. But my mini PC is from a company called Geekom. I've had this for quite a while now, and it works really well. I don't know the specifications on this one, so I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, how powerful is it, and this and that. What model is that? This video is not really about that. This video is just saying I have a mini PC. That's how I edit. So this works really great. It's not the strongest, so like I can't do an hour-long video in 4K. This just doesn't have enough power for that. But what it allows me to do is all my photos, all my photography work can be done on this. My thumbnails, my music recording, all kinds of things I could do on this on the road, and it can mount to the wall or get placed anywhere I like. So that is going to be paired with that, along with a basic wireless keyboard and mouse. So this one I just grabbed from Walmart. Actually, it was 20 bucks. Nothing special here. Pop it out of here and figure out where and how I'm going to mount things, because lately I've just been doing, oh, the tape on that. lately I've just been kind of run and gun, doing things in storage, setting up areas and just doing like little micro edits, but I need a space where I can actually work. So that's where this is going to come into play. I do have a swivel arm in here somewheres. I believe I shoved it behind the jackery. We'll get that out and see if I can mount it on a swivel or if it's best to just leave it like this. Just slide. Interesting. I may have to read directions for once. Oh no, lied. Yeah, that day will never come. So that in there and positive down on that one. So wireless mouse, put the cover back on. That's actually the first wireless mouse I've seen with the top that comes off to put the batteries in, which is kind of interesting. Got the receiver here for the computer, and then just put the batteries in the back of this keyboard, and this will be ready to go. All right, so now that we've got the computer set up, I could just take the battery out of the way, but I really don't want to. If you guys caught the last video, you guys will have a little bit of information overload on how this was built and all that stuff. That aside, this is spring loaded. It does swivel, tilt, pan. It's a stand I got off of Amazon for like 20 bucks, very affordable. Yeah, so we're gonna play with that. Also got a thank you card from my boy over at Near Zero Gear. So this is from Scott Jensen, the owner of Near Zero Gear. Man, I can't say thank you enough. They hooked me up big time again and again and again. Whenever I need gear, Near Zero always hooks me up. Ultralight tents, backpacks, sleeping bags, sleeping pads, you name it, complete kits. So when I was down and out and couldn't access my gear because, well, somebody stole it from me, I don't really want to mention their name, but all these generous companies that have built really good relationships with me over the last 5-6 years on Lone Wolf 902 are all reaching out to me and basically getting in touch saying, hey man, do you need any help? So thank you, Scott, as well as all the other companies for reaching out. Always got my back, always got your back. So this arm, I do have the hardware in here somewheres. Let me undo this cabinet. I believe I put the hardware way down here. Nope, I didn't. Where did I? Oh, it's over here. It's in the other cabinet. Anyways, I got all the hardware so I can mount this. Let me close this door. Close that just for a moment. So I can mount this, either clamp it to basically like an edge, so like a little C-clamp, or I could drill a hole through and put a bracket through and mount it permanently to a surface such as that. Now I love this tabletop. I love it. I do a lot of stuff up here, cooking, editing, doing all kinds of things up here. So to have this up here, honestly, I don't think I'm going to want it there, but if it's tucked in the corner, is it really going to bother me that much? I don't know. Now with this, it can fold down. Cool. It does have a quick disconnect, so if I did want to take the monitor off and place it anywhere else in the van, and this arm is situated here, this literally just slides off and the screen bolts to that, so I could take the whole monitor off and put it wherever I want. So it's not like it's permanently mounted there. So this is my dilemma. Do I put it here, or do I just move it in and out when I need it to? The bonus of leaving it here is I could route the cables back there neatly, and then all I have to do is literally grab my keyboard and mouse, bam, on my lap, and I'm on the computer. Doing it the other way, I have to get out the monitor, wire it in, plug it in, do all this stuff. So is it really worth it? I don't know. I'm gonna play around with it for a minute or so, and just to kind of convince myself that I like it, or convince myself that I don't like it. Alright, it is getting way too crazy hot in here. I've got the diesel heater on speed 1. one window cracked, about 5 degrees Celsius outside, very warm in here. Insulation of this van is incredible. So I don't need that. That's actually for my large computer monitor and storage. This monitor, phones, mini PC, mouse, keyboard. So, looking at some of these brackets and things, I need the flat bracket, which I believe, oh, it's right here. So, this goes through the table, so picture my hand being the table. This goes underneath, then the bracket, the whole arm sits on top, it threads in, and then we tighten it up with this wing nut underneath, and that's what secures it permanently. Or you could do like a C-clamp mount with screws in, so you do it on like the edge of a table or a counter or whatever. I don't like that because I think if you're going to put something in there permanent, it might as well be permanent, and putting a C-clamp in an area like this wouldn't be permanent, it would still be removable, so to me it's a little bit redundant. But that is all that we need for that. So let's have a look. Let's get the monitor on the back of that actually. I hope the kit, okay good, I was gonna say I hope the kit came with the proper screws, because I've had kits that don't come with the proper screws. So it comes with the proper screws, the brackets. This arm that I'm going to be using, I do not have the link for it. I just found it on Amazon, so sorry if anyone's looking for a link. They're very easy to find on Amazon. Just jump on there, take a look. Not really one for pushing links to products and things like that. I just go on Amazon. If I see something that works, grab it if it's affordable, and off you go. So all the screws here, I got to grab that mount, get it on the back of the monitor just for kicks and giggles to see what it looks like, and then make a decision whether that's a smart way to go or not a smart way. Okay, which way is up? That is up, so that needs to go in that direction. It does come with these spacers, which we do need to use actually. I mean, I guess we don't need to use it, but we're going to anyways. Or are we, actually? I may have just lied. I talk to myself a lot in the van, by the way, so if you guys are a little bit weirded out by that, I don't apologize. Okay, it's kind of funny how they they include these screws and these spacers, but like they don't fit. So that's clearly a problem for me. Obviously the threads in the back of this monitor are not the same size as the standard screw. Oh, let's see what I got. Usually I have a bunch of goodies kicking around. These are all wood screws though, so that won't work. For metal type screws, I don't think I have any actually. Well, this is anticlimactic video at its finest. Van life, man, you just full send it. So these aren't going to work. So I'm going to need a smaller screw to go on there. I guess what I could do is just hold it and get an idea of where it can articulate. Honestly, just standing here looking at it, it kind of, okay, so it is useful on the arm because then I can elevate it, and when I'm laying down, I can actually tip it down. But it being in that area only, because I am going to be using this for watching movies, editing, and working as well, so not just working. If I'm laying in bed, I want to be able to see it. So I guess the argument is, if I'm laying in bed, couldn't I just prop it up, right? I think you guys see where this is headed. Okay, so let's just use our imagination here, because I'm an idiot and I didn't check to see if those screws would fit. So let's just say if this was mounted, if that was mounted there and this were to be screwed in there, basically it would be at that height. Now keep in mind, this can tilt side to side, up and down, so I do have that flexibility with using this. And when it's up all the way, it could be like that, which I actually think is pretty useful. Now, it being locked in the corner, it's really limited because now we lose this whole swivel bit to point that way or point this way if I'm chilling out here, or if I have a friend in the van and we're like, hey, check this out. So that doesn't really work. Oh, but that spins. Okay, I lied. That spins. So, let's go back. If I put it here, I can swing that like that, or... Question is it really worth it? And I'm kind of leaning towards no, it's really not. This works great. I can move it wherever. And honestly, if I'm sitting up here, I'm never going to be like, oh, I need my monitor up here. I'm most likely going to be looking down on it like this, typing on my keyboard, like a laptop. And then the bonus is I can move it. Yeah, okay. So for now, we're going to scrap that stand, and I'm basically just going to get this wired up and give it a little boot and show you guys a little bit of a workflow here, there, on the roof, on the hood, I don't know, everywheres. Let's just get it fired up. Okay, so my inverter is a tiny bit loud. It's just the fan, it's not the actual inverter like electronically. It's just the fan that spins to cool it is a little bit loud. It's not terrible. I don't notice it because usually when I'm in here, I'm A, talking to you, B, talking to myself like a mental patient, or 3 and 4, listening to music or watching a video. So it may get a little bit loud just for a minute, but it'll be louder on camera than it is actually in person, to be honest. So figuring out a place where this can go, let's just wire this all in here and have some fun with it just for a minute. Cord, so the PC is super small, gonna mount that to the wall. Plugging into here, we don't need those light bars in there because it's daytime. Inverter on, so that will power that. Flick the PC on. PC is now on. Now we need a USB-C to USB-C to... Do I, or? Yeah, USB-C to USB-C to power on the monitor. Plug that, and that's not the computer running, that's the inverter, so the fan is a little bit loud like I was saying. What was I doing? My attention span these days is just all over the place. Oh, right there. USB into HDMI. I don't know, it's my first time. Bear with me here for a minute. Computer is on. HDMI is on. Saying no signal. Inverter is cranked up. Let's turn the diesel heater off for one. It's way too hot in here. 25 degrees in here. That's on. Is saying no signal? I've had this issue with this computer before, actually, now that I'm remembering. And it was very annoying. It doesn't recognize certain screens at certain times through the HDMI, and I'm not sure why. Alright guys, so as you can see, got it figured out. Turned out I just need to turn the mouse on and give it a click, and it came on. So, this works. Alright, so as you guys can hear, the inverter is really annoying. That's a 2000 watt inverter. I don't need 2000 watts to run this. I actually have a 500 watt inverter under there as well. The 2000 watt inverter I only use for the air fryer, the microwave, whatever I need to plug into AC up here. Whatever I plug in there is only short-term use. It's very quick, like a minute or two in the microwave, 10 minutes in the air fryer. I wouldn't listen to that for long. So, what I would do, 2 things. 1, replace the inverter to something quieter. 2, plug into the 500 watt inverter, a lot quieter. Or 3, plug it into the Jackery. because the Jackery can be tapped into the solar to recharge. I can also recharge the Jackery from the cigarette lighter. I can also throw a solar panel outside if I want to. There's just a lot of options. So I would plug this primarily into the Jackery if I were running it for a long period of time, like watching a movie. What? Right? Doesn't make sense. So this is the computer set up. Now let's just figure out where we're going to put it. Okay guys, now that we've got that shut down, the noise that you're hearing right now is actually outside of the van. It's not inside anymore. So this is what I'm thinking. It's just going to kind of, this is the primary work area. My question is, will a microwave harm a computer? I think the answer is pretty straightforward as yes. I mean, I'm not going to put the computer up there, that's for sure. But my question is, if I mount the computer on the wall or maybe inside of this little cabinet, would it possibly damage my computer? So I don't know. It's not something I've really ever done. I'm going to assume yes, but let's just do a quick little search here on the Google. Microwave. I know a lot of people are screaming at their screen right now. Damage computer. Waves, heat, food, blah, blah, should not affect nearby electronic devices unless they are very close and not properly shielded. Well, that doesn't answer anything. Should not affect, but it will affect. Okay, so damage electronic devices, but this is not a problem in everyday living. You would have to be right in front of a microwave. That is transmitting for damage to occur. Keep a computer near, you won't have any issues with the system itself. However, if you use Wi-Fi, the microwave may interfere with Wi-Fi signal. Okay, so that's interesting, but that's only if I'm using the microwave. I don't think too often I'm going to use the microwave while I'm... Okay. Not sure, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that was not really helpful at all, to be honest. I would really like to mount it inside of here, because then it's out of sight, out of mind. But at the same time, I'd kind of really like to mount it out here, because then it's available for me to plug my USB sticks into and other devices to route cables or whatever. So the idea with putting it up on this arm, I think I'm going to scrap that for now. For one, I don't have the screws here today. Two, I think it's very large and it's just not really smart. I mean, I can literally put this here. So this is the other cool thing. I could swivel this here and chill out and like edit this way if I'm looking out the window or whatever, instead of being locked only to this area. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why I'm filming all this decision-making process is because it's real van life. This is what I go through in my day to figure things out. Yeah, I know it's scary. So, do I have the screws to mount this? I believe I do. Let me check in this cabinet. My world is a lot of back and forth. I'm very indecisive about things like this. So, I just like to be sure, that's all, you know. I like to be as sure as possible. I've been burned a lot in the past, so do you blame me? They don't fit. But, I think if these feet come off, which they do, these little rubber feet, I'm going to have to get some real tools out for that. That's not working. I'm going to take the rubber feet off, and there is actually a mounting bracket that comes with this, but I don't have it here. So I'm going to take the rubber feet off and replace those with a longer screw, and I think that'll work to get it mounted on the wall. Are those threaded? No, I don't want to stick a screw in there. That's just not smart at all. Certain things I won't stick in the holes. Alright guys, so admitting defeat, I'm ultimately going to have to go to a hardware store and take my mini PC into the store because, oddly enough, I actually think these are the same size screw. They certainly look it. So I'm gonna have to take the mini PC into the hardware store, find some screws that match that thread pitch, and get some screws so we can mount that. I'm not worried about mounting the monitor, because I think what I'm going to do is just use it just like this. I can kind of move it around, do what I want. It is functional up there like that, but something just hit me, and I actually thought about how cool would it be if this could just simply be mounted up there with one of those hang style mounts. That way when I'm in bed, I can watch TV straight on without having to lay on my side, which is great for two people, because if you're watching TV with one person and it's over here, that person's constantly peeking over your shoulder. So I think that'll work great. I'm gonna have to go online and find a mount for that, because I do know that they make them, and I could actually incorporate it into this curtain track so it can slide. More on that later on. I'll have to play around with that, but I'm gonna go to the hardware store real quick, find out what screws match these. Looking at the proximity to the microwave, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I'm going to mount it down low, enough that the fan can still kind of get in there and do its thing. I do have an SD card reader on this side, which is kind of not cool. I guess I could just mount it vertically, because I don't have access to all the ports, but that means it's going to have to be up high, closer to the microwave. Ideally, I like it down low, away from it, but I need to be able to access all these plugs, as well as have air go in to cool it down. So I'll figure that out, but what I'm basically going to do is mount it to the wall, screw it in there so this is permanently there, and then if I want to run the screen, all I have to do is get a longer HDMI cable, because that's the only cord that goes to the screen to the computer. So let's get in the store and get back here and get it mounted. Alright, so for me, going from park to drive only takes a couple of seconds. I put my dowel in my drawers so they don't go flying open. I put the covering on the window so when I get to where I'm going to park, no one's peeking in. Reach through the door, turn the key, start it up, hit the road, man. So Home Hardware is not far from here. I've got another Canadian Tire very close too, so I'm going to go to most likely Home Hardware, because they have like bulk hardware. Bring the computer in, size up that screw, get back here and mount it. Alright guys, I just got to Home Hardware, ran in, grabbed the screws. It turns out they're a 4x40 pitch. The only ones that they had were actually a 1-inch 4x40x1. So hopefully these fit the TV as well. If not, oh well. So I'm going to grab a drink really quick, head over to the far end of this parking lot, I guess, and start recording and start getting that thing mounted, get it wired in, and hopefully it'll fit in there nicely. Alright guys, I just made it back to, well, can't even say back. I just made it to a location where I get the computer set up, and I kind of want a coffee. So yeah, I may have broken something accidentally. This catch is not catching now, so it just keeps sliding open. Boomer wants to come and help. So I'm going to try and sneak a screw in the back side where this cupboard goes, where the drawer goes, to get that catch to lock, because the wood keeps pushing back. So, van life, always something that's gonna break. I'm gonna try and sneak this screw in here. I'm not sure what it's gonna do to this guy though, so I'll see what happens. Okay, so that fixes that. Success. Cool. Now, hopefully, oh yeah, this one's lined up too. The screw actually went in right behind it, so that's perfect. Sometimes one task requires 10. Perfect. Okay. All right, now put these tools. Well, actually, I need these tools out anyways to drill holes for that stuff. Now I'm going to start on a coffee really quickly, and might as well bring you guys to that process, seeing that we're kind of live here in the van life. Get out the coffee maker, coffee, get all that set up here, creamers in the fridge. Let's make up some coffee. Alright, so the coffee is brewed. I'm going to shut this inverter off. And I had to prop it up on this roll of tape and tip it back with a spoon because usually I use a taller cup with this. I'm actually using a ceramic cup on purpose today because when it cools down I can heat it up in the microwave, right? So hopefully didn't make too much of a mess back there. That put away, that is off. Turn that drip off just so it doesn't drip all over the place. Got a little bit of a mess we'll have to clean up. I'll grab a cloth in a second, but yeah, ceramic mug works great on that. I am going to be switching to probably a Keurig single just so I can keep K-cups in here and do instant coffee and or not instant, regular coffee in the cups as well. So this is a little bit large. The Keurig single is a little bit smaller. That's one reason why I'm going to switch, just to save on room and the convenience too. So that's done. Creamer and get to work. So whenever I'm parked on city streets, like residential areas, one thing I do like to do is adopt a trait that I call a vampire. I hide myself in the dark. And I know I've said this many times in different videos that I don't like to hide myself. I really don't. But when I'm in residential areas, day or night, I kind of feel like if I'm out here working on the side of a street where someone lives, it's kind of creepy, in my opinion. I mean, I know if I was at home and some person was out in their van all the time, constantly living at the end of my driveway. They're in a city, not a country. So the driveways are like 20 feet long, not 100 feet. So it's a little strange. I don't know. I just pay respect, you know, just close it up, lock it up. Now, if I'm in here just like lounging, cleaning out the van, pull into a spot, do that for 10-15 minutes and then leave, I don't care, but I'm going to be here for probably 4 or 5 hours working. So I'm going to keep it buttoned up for now. And yeah, just my own thing. Oh man, and I got a new cup. Take me to the lake. We'll be going there tomorrow or the next day. We'll see. But anyways, coffee is done. Wanted to give you guys that little rundown of how I do coffee up here. My battery right now is reading 13.1 volts. It's knocked down to 1, so it's like 70%. It is currently charging via solar, so we're popping in a good charge actually, 13.2 volts, bouncing between 3. Boomer's got water and food, but he wants up. You want up? Come. Yeah, you do. He wants to be on camera. He's been sleeping all day, right? You're about to go back to sleep because Dad has to do some work on the bed. Ugh. All right, so I'm going to get this creamer popped back in the fridge. He's going to constantly harass me for cuddles, as he usually does. And I'm going to get some work done. Okay, guys, so I've got a couple washers. 2 screws are going to be needed for this. And I've got the computer. Problem is, I don't have the template to mark those, so I'm going to show you a little trick. Okay, so if you have a device with holes in the back of it and you want to know where to drill those holes on the surface, you don't have the template, piece of paper. I'm using a coffee filter. Lay it on the back. Simply find your hole. A little bit difficult to see through the filter. And turn the other one there, right there. 2 holes in there. Shows me exactly where I need to drill the holes over there where I want to mount it. So that'll work out. To make that a little bit more fine-tuned, you could trace it, cut it a square, and then pop the holes. I'm simply just going to line it up and kind of do it by eye because it's not a very big project. But that is a headache saver if you're curious how you get those holes to line up. So let's go pop this on the wall in probably this style of orientation, I think. We'll figure it out. Alright, so I'm kind of thinking in this orientation here, I would really like to push it towards the back so it's out of the way. The problem is, all the ports are in the back. I do have one on the bottom, but it's just for an SD card. And then I have USB in the front and a USB in the rear. So I really don't have to use the SD card slot. I could just get a card reader and plug it into the USB spot. I do want the power button facing forward so I know it's on, and I do need these two fans to be open, so I can't just put it down on the ground like that. I don't want to mount it down here like that either, because that's a surface and I don't want it on a working surface for wiping it off with water and stuff. So I'm thinking right here, and the reason why I'm saying here and not here is because there is a stud there. So I'm just trying to go through this 1/2-inch pallet board to get the screws through, because the screws are only 1 inch long. So that, yeah, that'll definitely give me enough bite. I'm also using washers so they don't go through. So yeah, I'm thinking, it looks to me like right there would be the spot to put it. So take this pen, I guess I could follow the line from the wallpaper, but I'm just going to mark just lightly where I feel like the corner is going to be. I'm not actually rolling the ink, I'm just pressing in with the ball point on an edge. I'm saying that just in case I want to remove that and put it somewhere else, I won't have blue pen there. So that should do. So now the holes are actually this way and not the other way. So I am going to do that just so I could tell like where square would be, right? Because I want to avoid those studs. So that to me looks pretty good. So let's test our luck and see if those match up. Alright, so that's screwed in there. Coffee filter method worked really well. I know it might look a tiny bit off. This is actually going with the wood, but the lines on this paper are actually slightly off. I can see looking down here, it's a tiny bit down. So this is level, but the paper's not. So my OCD will probably get to me one day and I'll probably rip the whole thing off. But right now it stinks. So now I need to get the cords, get those routed through, probably drill some holes in this again, and have it as a neat setup so I don't have to worry about loose wires or anything like that. When I do move the computer monitor closer to the bed, I'll have to get an HDMI extension, so a longer cable. So I'm going to leave that cable for the most part open, but the other cables I'm going to try and hide. Alright guys, so got everything configured the way I think it'll work. Run you guys through this really quick. What I got is a USB-C cord. I just ran through the back and I put a tie on there so I can snake it in, but it won't fall back there when I'm driving, so it'll just kind of dangle there. That works as USB charge because it'll charge devices or to power whatever I want to power. The HDMI cable I just snuck back here because it really doesn't need to get drilled through. So I'm going to run you guys through the whole setup right now. I do have it plugged into the Jackery because the plug that the microwave is plugged into to run on the inverter needs a 3-way splitter. Right now there's only one plug can plug in there and I need 3. So that's how that's set up. So I want to flick on the AC to the Jackery, which gives power to this system. Give you guys the full setup now if I were to set up my computer. Open up the monitor like so. Take the HDMI, mini HDMI, pop it in there, and keep in mind if I want to move the monitor elsewhere, I just have a longer HDMI cable, not a big deal. Pull out this USB-C power cable, and that also goes to the other side. I'm going to have to move this over here because, as I stated, it's plugged in the Jackery. It's not supposed to be plugged in there. It's supposed to be plugged into the cord, which would give me enough room to plug it in. Keep in mind, this is the first time I'm doing this. Oh, you know what? I could plug it into the USB over there to this light. But let's just try and get it set up through here for now. Just for viewing purposes. I'm going to run to the store and grab a longer cable. So that's plugged in like that. Computer on. Computer starting up. Screen says no signal. That's cool because switch it over. Here comes the computer. We've got the wireless mouse on. This cable, oh, this is extra. This is for when I want to plug my phone into it, into the monitor. Keyboard here. Let it do its boot up thing. And that's basically it, guys. Speakers, built-in speakers in the monitor. I'm going to have to go through the my password, guys. And there you go. So I do have to go through the menus to figure out brightness and volume and all that stuff because there's no remote to this. But there you go, Lone Wolf 902. So this monitor would be here, keyboard up there, or keyboard on my lap, and yeah, operating PC. So I do have, oh, I don't like this mouse though. I may go get a different mouse. So I've got Lightroom 5 on here. The reason why I have Lightroom 5 and a little baby boy. The reason why I have Lightroom 5 is because it was the last version that I know of that was on a disc. They're all now digital download. So I don't have to keep downloading. I just take my master disc and just keep popping it on all my computers. So Lightroom 5, do all my photo editing, and like I said, PC is hooked up. And if I want to move this, like I said earlier, I could plug in my phone, watch Netflix, I could leave it here. I like this idea more than using the arm, honestly, because now I can kind of bring the screen wherever I like, but I am going to try to incorporate it into the rail so I can hang it over by the bed, down by the feet. That way you're sitting up eating popcorn or whatever, you could watch a movie front, dead and center. 2 people, the kids will love that. So yeah, this is running off the Jackery right now, just in case you guys are wondering. It is pulling 20 watts with an estimated runtime, this PC and this monitor only. It is plugged into the fridge, but the compressor is not kicked on right now. But these 2 items, 37.4 hours runtime, and the battery is at 71%. That's a lot of runtime, a lot. So, computer set up, guys. We got coffee on the go if I want to heat it up. Pop it in the microwave. Living large, man. So this is all done. Now I've got a mobile office. I just got to run to the store and grab longer cables, get back here or anywheres. I'm probably not going to come back to the same spot, actually. I'm going to bounce around a little bit, go get the van parked somewhere to spend the night, basically. Maybe down by the beach, maybe on a hilltop. I don't know, probably a beach. But yeah, I'm going to go get all this put away, figure out a spot where all this is going to get stored, figure out a drawer system in here. Now that I need a spot for a keyboard and stuff, I think I could take a measurement for that and possibly build that. And I've decided that the Jackery is going to live here forever. So I'm going to clear some things out, get it pushed all the way in there, nice, neat, and tidy. And yeah, basically a Jackery home. So thank you guys for watching. I know there's a lot of redundant stuff in this video, but it's also van life, kind of day in the life of dealing with little problems like this drawer broke, got that figured out, got that mounted, had to run to the store, made some coffee. So now it's relax time. So peace out, guys. I've got some photos to edit, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.